you know what? Let's start off with some fire. Fuck on.
What's going on, folks? Obviously, you see we here. We got a nice little game of Uno going. And some nice little drink. You know, nothing crazy. You're about to watch these two get cooked. But today I have here with me Stereotype and Black Panther.
They call me the Black Panther.
We're still getting canceled.
Oh man. You know what? Whatever this does.
The power of the Black Panther will be stripped away.
Yeah, that's definitely get canceled.
Okay, I give up.
No, it's not. Keep it going.
Keep it going. You ain't even go.
Oh shit.
Oh, you gotta flip the deck, bro.
Oh, you ain't even go.
You gotta flip the joint.
Oh.
I'm not playing this shit.
Yeah,
No,
Hey, you don't even know the way. I'm back. It's not bad. We can have nice things, but it's cool.
Alright. Today's topic. We have a nice little topic. Infidelity. I feel as though there's a lot of views on that where it could be a lot of justifiable infidelity and a lot of unjustifiable infidelity. How do you guys feel about that?
me personally.
No.
How?
I need another drink.
Yo, cut it. Don't laugh on my turn.
Oh, man.
How I feel about it personally
Absolutely not.
is that cheating isn't a justifiable act. Infidelity in a relationship isn't necessarily a justifiable act. If you don't want to be with the person, break up and do your thing. Ergo. Or, shall I say, in a different reference of that, there are instances where, you know, you may be in a situationship, not to quote Jada Parker Smith, but
Entanglement. It's entanglement.
yeah, if you're in an entanglement, that's something different. But I can't say to wholesomely.
Entanglements. When you get nasty in the sheets.
I can't justifiably say it's okay to, you know, have infidelity in your relationship, but there are those situations where they'd be like, "Hey, listen, that's not my man. So whatever you do, it's on you." But listen, at the same time, you can cheat in a relationship, but it's not really the other person's fault. You made those actions on your own. I didn't make you cheat. I didn't say, here, come, you know what I'm saying? You decided to, oh yeah, bust it wide open. So I just decided to slide in. You know what I'm saying?
No.
All consensual.
No.
I'm just saying.
What's your thoughts on that, seriously?
Disagree disrespectfully.
Disagree.
Yeah, I'd disagree. Listen, I mean, you definitely don't have a role to play, but you saying you gonna slide in that anyway, you just condoning it, bro. It ain't. it ain't. It's not really one of them situations like, oh, yo, I didn't ask her to come on to me, but she came on to you and you continued the action. So that's you accepting the action.
What?
So no.
Okay.
I ain't done.
Don't kill something.
But like, I feel like for real, like, at the end of the day, though, cheating is cheating, man. Like, there's really no way to phrase it where it even sounds good. Now, to play devil's advocate real quick a little bit, there are instances where people have a tendency to cheat or do infidelity due to, like, you know, mental health reasons, or it could be like a really bad day.
Not justifiable.
You say it's not justifiable, but the thing is, do you want to be judged by the one thing for the one time that you made a bad decision?
Not necessarily that. But I'm not saying I'm gonna judge you forever, but I'm just saying there's no justifiable reason for you to cheat. I'm not gonna judge you forever. If you made a error in your relationship, cool, that's on you. But I'm not gonna judge you forever on that. That's like saying, oh, like, I accidentally kicked the kid while doing a cartwheel. Like, you're going to blame me for the rest of my life for doing that? I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. You know what I'm saying? It was a one-time type of thing.
You knew the kid was there, but we gonna talk about that.
Nah, it's size on. You know, them kids come out of nowhere. But, like, to your point, what you were saying, like, I feel as though I'm not condoning the actions of you cheating. Like, we got to talk by cause and by state. You know what I'm saying? If it's a situation where I know this person in a relationship, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go with it. She came on to me, and I'm like, okay, even though I know she's in a relationship, I'm gonna rock with it. That's pushing it, but still, that's kind of crazy. But
you still cheating though.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, she cheating. I'm the single one.
But you're helping her cheat. That's the point.
That's where it's different. But I feel like if it's like I said, by stating my differences, if I know shorty and she in a relationship and she decide, oh, she want to come on to me, and okay, cool. But then if I don't know shorty and she is in a relationship, and I find out the next day or whatever, that's not really my fault. I'm not really gonna.
Bottom line is, you poured gasoline on the fire and expect it to go out.
So, nah. So I personally, I understand that because it's like, if you don't know, it's not. It doesn't exist to you. It's a perception thing. Like if you can't.
If you don't know, then what can you do about that?
It's like you find out she in a relationship. It's like, oh.
But what I mean is, if you openly know and you still go, that's not my man's. That ain't cool.
I feel like you cheated on me too. So.
But as you were saying,
respect.
My thing is, for all of that, let's have a conversation. Like for real, for real. Like if you don't want to be with me, say that.
Right.
But to cheat, there's no point. All you doing right now is wasting time and you creating issues.
Right.
And for those who sit there saying, I had an emotional affair, we know what that means.
You fell in love.
I want to talk about that. That you said an emotional. So, do you consider developing an emotional attachment to somebody else that is not your partner as cheating?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It depends on how deep. How deep did the emotional attachment go?
That's part of the unjustifiable cheating.
Yeah, so can cheating be justified when it comes to emotional cheating? We gotta ask ourselves that question now.
Absolutely.
And then the question you gotta really ask yourself is, do we actually control who we get attached to?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to be around somebody, what are you gonna do? If you really genuinely don't want to be around somebody, what are you gonna do?
I mean, sometimes you don't know until you know.
Yeah, but even when you know, what you gonna do?
Openly avoid it.
Exactly.
But life happens.
Yeah, life happens, but you can still find your way to tiptoe around it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it so happens to come into your corner again in life, that's just circumstantial. But at the moment, and you be like, okay, if I'm dealing and I got my little yeah over here, and then this is other person right here who could be like at some point be a partner or like a possibility, and then you're like holding this person around in your back pocket. See, you're at fault for anything that could come your way after that.
Yeah, because you
decide to keep that person around and for what they can come. You know what I'm saying? What can happen from that?
If you openly see this person as your next, and you just keeping them there for the time being kind of thing, then yeah, 100% you're cheating. Oh, sure. But again, if it's an emotional attachment that you didn't exactly account for and it just happened, it happens. But then it comes down to the fact of the matter of what's considered it just happening.
See, it's just happening. I feel like that's so like
one night stands. I think that's considered. It just happening. Think about it, right? I don't know. You gotta think about it this way. You have a one night stand with somebody. Keep this in mind, because a lot of one night stands, they don't have to be with somebody you know.
Right.
Now you get drunk or very inebriated. Y'all find each other attractive, and it just so happens that you wake up the next morning and it's like, damn, we did stuff that I didn't think that this was going to happen. That liquid courage.
No cap, because that
it was a thought. It was definitely a thought. So that's the problem there.
For sure. Like,
the thought got enhanced, but
so is alcohol the problem?
I'm
not going to say it's alcohol that's the problem, but I will say like inebriation it definitely be making some threes look like tens.
It'll boost it. It'll boost it.
Yeah. Like listen. You might end up with somebody that is shit that night. But you in that moment, and when you in a club and you hear dum dum,
you just drunk and horny.
Dum dum, yeah, and you know, and then next thing you know,
just looking for some ass to catch.
So then, because inebriation is a very huge cause for these kind of things,
still not justifiable.
I don't know.
And that was the question. But I feel like you got to.
I mean, in terms of justifiable cheating, I mean, there's reasons, there's ways.
There's ways.
I feel like, I mean, if you want to be honest, I feel like y'all mainly did the unjustifiable, so we're gonna do the. I'm gonna do the justifiable.
Okay,
but now in terms of justifiable cheating, I think that there are situations that people get themselves into that they have a hard time getting themselves out of because the emotions of the other person. They finally figure out, all right, this ain't really what I wanted. But when you're trying to subtly let somebody down and they're not taking it, and then you go all the way and let them know, like, this is not what I want, and they still trying to keep you there, it's like, all right, what else can I do?
So abusive relationships.
Yeah. It's like it could be abusive, and it don't even have to be just abusive. It could be very abrasive.
Yeah.
And
there's physical and there's emotional abuse. There's two types.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's just the pressure of not wanting to let down that other person. Like y'all already built this up to the point where it's like, all right, we built this up, but now I'm realizing you're not the person for me. Is that justifiable? Absolutely not. But it's only justifiable if you already had the conversations and that person's not letting you go. It gets to a point where it's kind of like a gnat. Like you just swiping and swiping and swiping and it's flying around you, but you just letting it know, like, I don't want you around. But they forcing themselves around. That's when it's like, all right, now you pull out the big guns. I gotta cheat.
So if you're separated, it's a just cause.
Separated, different story.
Separated, it's not cheating. Y'all
not together.
Attached to.
Exactly, you're not together.
If that link is broken, dingy. But when it comes to, like, justifiable cheating is so, like, it's such a hard thing to break down because, like, honestly, you gotta find the right reason for why you're stepping out on your partner.
Yep.
How can you really break it down to that's okay?
Simple. Your partner's a psychopath. That's one.
Why
Two,
not break up?
Huh?
Why not break up?
Because your partner's a psychopath.
Call the cops.
Because your partner's a psychopath.
Call the cops.
Wait. If your partner's a psycho, if you said, okay, things are done, are things still on or are things off?
If things is done, things is off.
No, if you have a psychopath, I'm with you. That's my man. If you have one of them, and you know what I'm saying, you said, no, listen, I'm not feeling it, blah, blah, blah. You cut, right? But she's like, no, that's still my man. But you're like, no, it's over. Is the relationship over? Or is it still going on? Ergo, the action that you do after that.
A situation like that, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's a justifiable action of cheating.
How's that cheating if you're not with them?
You're not with... Oh, I see what you're saying.
If your partner is the Lulu, the fact that y'all are no longer together.
Yeah, but at the same time, that can also be considered the cheating as well. Because if you're entertaining it, if you're sitting there still entertaining it, when you could just go ghost. Like, if you know for a fact you're in a position where you never have to see this person again, you could really just go ghost and then that's that. But you choosing to entertain that person, that delusion, is solely on you. And that's unjustifiable.
See,
that's what makes it unjustifiable. That's you feeding into that delusion. Once you feed into that, that's on you.
Okay. Fair. So I don't know. Like when it comes to like the whole, I just can't find like the break even
really hard
space.
to justify that.
It's really hard to justify it when you have a straightforward situation.
Simple. Let's make it not straightforward. You got cheated on first. Think about it. Now here's where it gets justifiable because it's like, all right, either we can work this out, or I'm going to get my kick
right. But 3 left.
It can.
3 lefts can.
But at the same time, relationship wise, it can. Because you have to consider a lot of people's relationships don't just thrive just strictly off of love. You have some that rely off of business. You have some that rely strictly just on the emotions itself.
Okay.
You have like a lot of business relationships, like people dealing with each other in a place of work and business and stuff like that. That's just built off of them just seeing each other every day. They don't know each other like that until they really start hanging out. But stuff like that, that'll be, you know.
I know it could be justifiable cheating. Right. When you got your work wife and you cheat on your work wife with your real wife, that's justifiable cheating.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Listen, hear me clearly.
That work husband and work wife shit, that's not justifiable at all. Because you know damn well you've been at work the whole time. Well, actually, no. If you met the work husband or work wife first,
I don't think you're. No. Listen. Can I?
Let me hear.
He said, if you had a work wife and you cheated on your work wife with your actual wife, is that justifiable cheating?
How the hell does that work?
Because it ain't actually cheating. Because you're not with Joey.
You're not with him.
That's your work wife.
Yeah, you're you know what I'm saying, on the side. But on some cases,
but the work wife is supposed to be the side. You're never supposed to mean the work wife. That's the point of a work wife.
Exactly.
That's why it's not cheating.
But the work wife is the main while you at work, unless the main call or the mains pull up or the main is in the vicinity. Then the work wife become the sub. You're out. Listen,
I don't look. I work with a bunch of men, so I don't understand how that shit work. But
I ain't never had a work wife. Never mind.
I'm not gonna lie on here. We can just, yeah.
I have. I'm supposed to say I have. I've had 3.
3, god damn.
Work wives are fun.
Work wives are.
Listen, you whores.
Work wives are fun.
They're fun.
It depends on what you get from them. It's not like you like.
You guys are sluts.
I was never in a relationship.
Exactly.
While having a work wife.
We're just entertaining each other. That's it.
Sluts.
Yeah. And entertainment is not really doing anything.
It's entertainment till you go to the break room.
What happens in the break room?
Stays in the break.
You know the lies.
Hey yo.
So I'm really trying to break down what can really be justified. I can't find anything to.
That's the issue with that topic, though, is you can't justify something that is inherently wrong. Right. It is very hard to do that because when you think about it, it turns into an excuse. Mm-hmm. And, the fact of the matter is, this is you trying to prove why you were supposed to do what you did versus doing the actual action that we just talked about. Break up.
Right.
It's 2 words. I don't want you. Sorry, it's 3 words. I don't want you. It's done. There should be no point to even want to have to cheat in the first place.
Right.
They're understood, but a lot of people can't take rejection, which is where exactly where the justifiability kicks in, because it's like, if you have somebody that can't deal with rejection, it's not going to be easy. So at that point, it either boils down to like, all right, either I want to ghost you. Some people just don't want to ghost. Some people it's like, all right, if you can't take this, I'm going to make it harder for you then. I'm going to make you really want to leave. So they cheat, and they make sure that they make sure that it's easy to find out about them cheating. But then you have other people that just will, like, they'll cheat and give themselves an excuse to actually leave and not talk to the other person.
So the bad guy defense.
Yeah.
I make you hate me enough to want to cheat on. And that's nothing too.
Man, grow up here.
Grow up here, but you got to remember though too, we are people who don't like to be looked at as the bad guy. So what do? You do the one thing to make them break up with you. So it's like, oh, well, it's me. The reality is, it was you.
That's very true.
Listen, I'm too straightforward. I'm not playing no games.
Yeah, no, I'm not cheating.
I'm not jacking you. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm looking you dead in your eyes. Glasses off.
Look,
this is not it, baby.
You have approximately 3 to 5 times for me to tell you. 5 of them being generous.
3 to 5.
5 of them being generous.
You're getting 3.
But you have 3 red flags out of me. If I notice 3, even the slightest, when I get to that 3rd one, I'm going to tell you what the deal is. From that point on, you choose what you want to do. But if I'm not jacking you, and you still want to stay by my side, it's on you.
So then is it cheating? Because you broke up with her.
Yeah.
So is it still technically cheating if you severed the connection? They still want to hang on, but you done.
Right.
It depends. Like I said, that all goes back to feeding into the delusion. So if you feeding into the delusion, that's what makes it the cheating part.
It also goes back into what you deem a relationship.
That's very true.
That's facts. That's facts. You gotta stand on what you said, though, baby. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. If I say, yo, I'm not jacking this no more, don't think I'm playing with you. Like, and if you say you're not jacking me, I'm gonna take your word for what it is. You made your bed, I made my bed. We gonna lay there respectfully. So it doesn't really matter.
I made my bed. You can make your own damn bed.
That's what I'm saying. Individually.
But go do it somewhere else, not in my house.
Exactly.
See,
Jared,
get out.
Don't bring that back to my crib. I'm sorry.
Stereotype, get it.
We done. If you. Dad, did he just government name me?
Yeah, you might have to edit that one out.
It's fine.
That ain't my real name. It's cool.
But yeah, no. If I tell you something,
you done
that. I'm not. I don't play the game. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna cheat on you. Don't cheat on me. My thing is, see, I'm gonna go back to the point you said. I'm gonna go back to the point you said. If someone cheats on you first, and then what you do after that, is that justifiable? Listen, me personally, I feel like that is, because
if you played chess, it's absolutely justifiable. As simple as that.
I'm gonna say this.
Checkmate.
I'm gonna say this.
I mean, to balance the tables, you can say it's justifiable, but it really ain't. Well, you cheated on me. You ended our relationship right there. So I'm not really cheating on you, but we never said, "Oh, it's over officially." Once you committed that action, the thing is some
circumstances.
Let's be honest. Say, for example, you with your shawty, right? She kissed the guy because she was drunk. She tells you instead of y'all breaking up, she'll give you a chance to kiss the girl. Is that justifiable?
If you gave permission, then it's definitely justifiable. That undoubtedly, you can't reject that.
But you can reject. She gave you an option for a kickback. Because y'all remember, a lot of people make a lot of different mistakes, right? And what they do is they leave you an opening to do exactly what they did to you, just to even things out. Okay. Because everybody knows with the power struggle, relationships is hard.
But yeah, I like how you said that, because my main thing is I don't get mad, I get even. So you gonna give me that out? Okay, I'm gonna do it, and then I'm still gonna break up with you.
But see, here's the thing though. About that. I mean, you could break up. Some people just choose not to because they actually do enjoy the person that they're with. They actually do love the person that they're with. And sometimes some people just won't do that because they choose not to stoop down to that level. Now, there's an expectation out of that though too.
Right.
Now, the problem with that is you expect me to actually do this and do exactly what you did, but keep this in mind. Once you cheated first, I don't know what you did. You can tell me, oh, you didn't do that, but you just only did this. But who knows? Maybe you went all the way. Maybe you did some things that you wouldn't even do with me to this person. Maybe you probably did do less. But that's not what you're thinking about. You're still so heated and you feel that in your soul, like that burning pain that why would you do this to me? Like I trusted you. So, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, because relationships at this point for that's the issue today. They're no longer sacred. They're really no longer sacred, and it's like we got this open relationship stuff, so it's like to kind of like appease the cheating culture and not to make it cheating because it's an open relationship. But the reality is, between two people or whoever you with, that should be between y'all.
I don't
bringing in outside folks.
That's clutter in your relationship. I can't.
Heck of clutter.
I understand that.
That's soul ties upon ties. You bringing in all that stuff from the outside, and listen, when you
if y'all start together, that's cool.
Yeah, like if this is your circle, this person and this person, this is y'all square, this is y'all circle, and you bringing other people from the outside into your circle, that's making your circle expand beyond its boundaries. And what happens? It bursts like a bubble. Now you got all this clutter. I'm cool off that, respectfully, baby. Like, no.
I'm gonna be honest though. We have to also keep in mind, a lot of people that's doing this are mainly in their 20s. Their 30s. That's all of that is still the beginning of our lives. Like teens, 20s, 30s. That's beginning. You're still young, quote unquote. Huh?
I'm not gonna judge you by high school. Right?
Oh yeah, high school. That shit really.
High school really don't count unless you take that into your adult years. Like I say, if you have a high school relationship that lasts like 5+ years outside of high school, that's when it matters. Like, baby, you been with me for 5 years and you gonna treat me like what? Oh, yeah. I'm not Doodoo Bob.
Especially if y'all have a child or something. Get the racing folks.
Yeah. No cap. That's how it's gonna be treated.
Facts.
I don't know. I think personally it has to do I think it just has to do with people just looking, because dating and cheating is also two different things, and that gets confused too. But I think also the thing that confuses that even more and thins the line between those boundaries is the fact that not a lot of people set boundaries to make it known that they're just dating. They just end up cheating. Like, you make it very clear that you like this person and you want to date this person, and y'all start doing this and doing that and spending all your time with each other. But y'all never set the boundaries between, all right, this is just us getting to know each other versus actually us really dating and taking it to that next level.
Which is exclusive versus non-exclusive.
So wait, let's talk about this. Then we can really get into the nitty-gritty of it. Because what you just explained, that's the talking phase versus when you're actually dating somebody. Now, when you're in the talking phase, people have different talking phases depending on who you with and whatever. Some people say, even if you step out on me during the talking phase, if you're messing with somebody else, talking to somebody else, smash somebody else, whatever the case may be, you cheated on me, even though we're not exclusive.
That's not cheating, though.
No, that's feeding into the delusion.
Yeah.
That's feeding into the delusion.
Also comes to how you categorize your relationship. Like I'm saying, if you say, oh, I'm talking to you and you're talking to me, does that just mean we're exclusive to each other, but we're not officially, you know what I'm saying, cuffed?
I feel like when it comes to the talking phase, it's fair. Okay. Y'all just talking. Where you're not my person, I'm not your person.
Right.
But you can do what you want,
right,
and I do what I want.
Right.
But at least have enough respect to respect me and respect what I got going on, and I'll do the same for you, right, as well as
don't bring
you know.
To me.
Yeah, don't let me know. Don't let me know. Now it's more to that though, because if this is somebody that you actually want to move forward with,
yeah,
at least all right. Now it's like you can let me know what's going on, what you got going on. Now it's like all right. Now it is my concern.
Right
now. Sex is also another thing that plays a major role in it too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with sex, that also gives people that idea like, all right, I gave you my body, so now you need to tell me what's going on.
So the question is, what's the difference between fun and romance?
See,
because not everybody having sex for romance no more.
That's
exactly.
Yeah, that's the difference between smashing and making love. There's a difference between the two.
I think that depends on...
When I'm cracking your body, I'm cracking your body. When I say I'm trying to reach your soul, I'm in yo. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to feel it in your chest.
Yeah, like, I mean, either way, that's going to happen. But I want you to, like, I'm saying, have a revelation.
Just don't look me in the eyes.
Just have a revelation. Why he just smoldered at you? That was crazy. Why you...
No, it's cause what he said. He's like, just don't look me in the eyes. Yeah. It's like, damn, like,
because it's real.
No real rap.
When you look somebody in the eyes,
now I gotta avoid eye contact.
That's the soul gauge right there.
My thing is here. I'm gonna separate that. I'm gonna talk in my experience. When it comes to my experience, I can look her in the eyes. She can't look me in the eyes. I can detach. You know what I'm saying, the actual relation act and from the actual connection and emotionality of it all.
Exactly.
But for some, I'm just speaking off my experience. You know what I'm saying, but for some reason, when it comes back the other way, it's not that way. You know what I'm saying, they can't detach the two. But
you also have those demons. Like occasionally, you'll come across those demons where it's like they can look you in the eyes. You can look them in the eyes all you want, and it's like you can feel exactly what you want from them. But it was never that to begin with.
Right. That's right.
And that's the thing, though, about sex, though,
that's
because...
when they look at me. That's what they get. That's what they get when they look at me.
But see, that's the thing, though, and I feel like that's the part that we miss. Sex is a contract.
It is.
It's a contract. And if you do it with the wrong person, you're screwed.
No cap. That's why I put null and void in that joint. If you violate the terms of the contract...
We done.
It's over.
Yeah, he got a point.
I'm very. Listen, baby, I'm very direct.
At this point, we should just start giving out NDAs for sex. Like
at this point,
no, that's what.
If you want this meat, baby, you gotta sign this NDA.
Yeah, you can't talk about it. No telling your friends that I don't want to be in no group chats. Like absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, don't be meat sharing. That's crazy.
Yeah, please.
No, I'm
but then again, you got some people that they love that free advertising.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie.
That's free cheating. That's free unjustifiable cheating.
I'm not gonna lie. I remember.
They'll go through a friend group.
I'll speak on one thing. I'll speak on one thing that happened. I'll speak on one thing that happened.
We said no personals. I'll allow it.
I'll speak on one thing.
Put that on Chala.
Real rap. You boom big. Don't crush the cup. I remember the one time my homegirl was in the group chat of the shorty I was having relations with, and she told me everything the girl was saying. Showed me the screenshots, everything. Blah, 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 blah. It was nothing like, no pictures or nothing like that. But she told me everything she was saying. I'm like, yo. She's like, yo, you coming like this? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm mad she told y'all, but like, that's crazy work. But then it's also an ego booster too. So I'm like, okay. But still, don't be me, Sharon. I'm just gonna speak about that.
No, nobody talks about that though too. Like having a roster and actually like having different people to like have sex with. Mm-hmm. Anytime you choose, mm-hmm. It's one thing when you single. Like when you single, okay, you can have whatever bragging rights you want. Right. As long as you make it clear to these people, like, all right, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. Cool. But if you're in a relationship with it and you feel as though it's bragging rights that you having sex with this girl or that guy or y'all doing whatever, and then you got this main person at home that's just sitting there just...
That ain't cool.
Yeah, not at all. Like, it makes them look stupid. It makes you look stupid. And it's just a waste of time. Like, you could just be very clear and just let them know, like, this just ain't what you want. Now, some people will go as far as to respect that and still get what they want out of you, because that is a real thing. Sometimes people just don't want to add bodies on. So,
my thing is, if you're going to play games, get a controller, not a person.
Exactly.
Respectfully. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know when it comes to...
Too much expectations, not enough gratitude when it comes to it.
Heavy.
No cap. And my thing is, like, you gotta know what you want.
Absolutely.
You have to know what you want. I'm not gonna deal with you if you don't know what you want at this point.
Absolutely. If you know what you want, you know what to expect from that person.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know what you want, at least on the bright side, have enough humility to be like,
let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Let me know what you got going on, or am I in the way of something? Like, I don't have to be in the way of this.
Right.
Communication.
Literally.
If you're trying to get to your coin, baby, get to your coin. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop your hustle. No.
Literally.
We can get to a bag together, but respectfully, we can do it on a solo or together. It don't really matter. You just gotta let me know.
There's a lot more people that's willing to get cracked by somebody that's very honest, than there is to somebody that's just not that honest. Because at least they know, if I get cracked by this person that cracks that person and that person, all right, I know what to expect. He or she just got, they just got experience. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Yep.
I just want to get my nut off, and they just want to get theirs off too.
Yep.
But if you don't have that experience and you don't have that communication, what you doing it for?
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to bounce back with you. What you just said, that whole expectation versus gratitude thing. that was that. You know what I'm saying? Because people have a mindset of, I've been through this in life, I'm going through this, and they expect this to happen. Then when something good can possibly come their way, they're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. I don't think I deserve this. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? I feel as though, in that case, be grateful. You know what I'm saying? That's where the gratitude comes in. Be grateful that the thing is, because you've been through a lot. That's why it's happening to you. But that's just my take on it.
I think when it comes to that, I feel as though the expectation is definitely what gets people. It's not the gratitude. It's definitely expectation, because a lot of people, they always want to expect something, but they never want to expect giving in return. You always want to receive, but you never want to give. And giving is a big part of whatever you got going on. Like, it's a two-way street regardless. So you can't just expect something out of somebody and not expect them to want something out of you. Mm-hmm. So you just got to have enough gratitude to take that on the chin sometimes. Enough humility to be able to accept what comes behind it, regardless if it's good or bad. Because if you put yourself in that position, there ain't nothing that we can do about that. Only you can handle that. Nobody else but you.
That's right.
Fair. I feel like I'm more on the side of like you expect something bad to happen, and it's just like I know this is gonna happen. It's like we always prepare for the worst, but we never once go, "Dad, it actually might not rain today," because it's just like I've trained my brain to say that I'm okay with what's happening to me, and that's where the gratitude comes in, because it's like when something good happens, you can't appreciate it. And you see that to be really big in relationships too, because you get this great person, but you've been through like so much hardship and BS that you can't really see what's there for you. Because the first thing that comes to your mind is, whoa, all this bad stuff happens to me. I don't deserve this. Why do I deserve this kind of thing?
Exactly.
And I feel like being able to practice gratitude versus expectation respectfully, it's self-care. It is truly self-care, because it's being able to, it's basically the ability to accept that bad things happen, but good things can happen to you too. The world is not just black and white, it's gray. It's constantly going to be things that are constantly shifting, and if you have yourself fixed in one mindset, you're just going to be rigid. Uncle Ira. Please from the bar. Little soldier boy, come.
Okay. Now, a lot of that expectation, though, it does come from not what they expect from the other person, but it's what a lot of people expect from themselves. It's like, think about it this way: you're never gonna think about what somebody's gonna do because you don't know them. You think about what they're gonna do because of what you do. Like, for example, say you working, right, and you working at this car place. Every day you put your tools back right where they belong. You have everything listed down where it needs to be, all of that. So you would expect a new person to come in. If they touch your tools, you would expect them to put that back, wouldn't you? Because that's what you would do. You see it already listed and labeled and stuff like that. You know where everything go. It tells you where everything go. You can't do that. It's not their responsibility regardless. You just expecting too much.
Man, you better ask me before you touch my screwdriver.
Big facts, bro.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
You got it.
Absolutely. If you touch my shit, you need to ask.
Right,
but
yeah,
it's just...
I'm saying, and I'm going to tell you, put that shit back.
Exactly. Yeah. Right where you found it. Absolutely. Was it on the floor when you found it? No.
Wherever I left it at, put it right back. Wherever I left it at, put it right back. If it's not in the rightful spot, if I left it over there on that heater or on that car hood or something, put it right back over there because I left it there for a reason.
But it brings you back to the other side of this, and it's the fact of like what you're saying before. You can expect that that's how you're going to be because that's just how you are.
Exactly.
But you got to have the gratitude to be like, thank God that ain't me. Because there are people who they don't do the things that you would expect them to do. And they don't. It's just like, dang, you stupid for real. And then it's just like, no, you ain't stupid. It's just not how your mind is wired. And that's cool.
Man, we got to recalibrate that, Joe. I'm not going
to lie. We'll have to.
Little electrodes.
Yeah, no lie. Be turning
exactly shit.
John. Yeah. Not gonna lie, but that's how it is, you know. But that comes down to framework and everything, you know. That's fundamental stuff. But that's all. It could all be broken down.
Here's a question I have for y'all.
Answer.
How do you practice gratitude when you're somebody who don't know what it means to actually be grateful?
I know what it is to be grateful, so I can't answer that question. So I respectfully pass my answer to Prix.
Now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna speak from a personal aspect. For the people that do know me, I'm very humble, but I do have times where I'm arrogant. Now, they will call me out on my shit right then and there when I'm arrogant, all the time. This one right here could tell you, but but honestly,
on the spot, not gonna lie.
But no, it's all about the things that you like. You take that little second to just breathe. Like sometimes them expectations that get your anxiety pumping, all of that. You're a million miles per minute. And when you finally slow down, you finally realize where you're messing up at. Like you're moving too fast. You just need to take that chance and actually observe everything that's going on. Figure out how you're causing that problem. Because a lot of people just don't think that, self-inflicted problems are a thing.
Yeah. I mean, what if you're the person who feels as though that everyone else is the problem and you're perfect?
Well, if that's it,
you call me and I'll put you right in your place.
Yeah, that's why some people have people like that in their corner. They have people like that to ground them. Like they're grounding people. Like
when you can turn water into a wand and not from a toilet, then you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You ever watch animes, right? Certain animes, they have that one character that's just so grueling and so rude. But you don't realize the fact that they're like that because of their upbringing, but at the same time, they're so connected to the main character because of how grounding their soul is. Like they don't mean to be that way.
Sasuke.
Exactly. Sasuke's main thing was to be Naruto's rival.
I was about to say
100%.
I was about to say Bakugo.
I
ain't gonna lie.
That's even better. But it's like
Zuko here.
The names go on and on.
Yeah, for a rap. Real rap.
Shit, I just watched Future Diary. I was watching this anime called what is it, Psyche K, or the Disastrous Life of Psyche K, and it's a character named Ricky Nendo. He shows up at the absolute worst times, but he's such a grounding character because he literally doesn't have anything going on up here as compared to every other character where they're overthinking and things like that. And Nendo just shows up and it's just like, I'm here. So it's like that is the grounding. That's the grounding effect. Like it's just sometimes shit like that is needed to keep somebody like that in place.
That's right.
What if you don't have that?
If you don't have that, then that right there is something that
joint steamed
yeah.
fast as shit.
Huh?
This joint steamed up fast as hell. I'm not gonna lie. This man.
How they
and he got on glasses, like bro, bad combo.
Yeah, how the fuck you got glasses on with that?
I can see perfectly though. What?
Yeah, he got the COVID fogging going on in his face.
No lie. I'm chilling right now. I just feel the heat. And I'm like,
this ain't Black Panther, this Predator.
But I feel like though, a lot of people, it's like you got a point. You definitely need to be grounded. But again, I'm speaking more along the lines of like those people who don't really have that grounding, right? But like they're the ones who are the overthinkers who have like really bad mental health. And it's like, for example, I like to use the Dunning-Kruger effect. Those who are fools who think that they're smarter than what they actually are. Those who are actually smart think that they're fools. Same thing here. Those who lack the ability to actually be grateful for anything are usually the ones who are supposed to be the most grateful. But it's hard. So how do you teach someone like that?
Well, that takes a lot of wisdom. That takes a lot of patience as well. Because at that point in time, that person doesn't have wisdom or patience. So they might think that in their mind, I've been living like this for so long, I'm perfectly fine. Like, I'm doing what I'm doing. This is the way that it needs to be for the rest of my life. But here's where somebody with wisdom and the right cadence and everything to come in and actually handle that. Like, they'll come in, they don't have to really, like, enforce their personality. Like, I don't have to be here.
That's right.
But if it's really worth the wait, they will come in and actually help out and, actually guide that person on the right track. And eventually it'll work out.
Yeah.
But it's all about how much patience a person has to actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you really are concerned with this person's like mental health and really think that you can put them on track,
right,
by all means do that.
Right.
But if you have to have the right patience in order to do that. If you don't, it's just going to drive you even crazier than what they are.
That's right.
Heavy. Heavy. And honestly, you want to practice serenity too. That's a real thing. Because I feel like once you learn the things that you can control and things that you cannot, and you learn to be okay with things you can't control, it becomes a lot easier to actually accept things in life.
Absolutely. But this has been another episode with Controversial Chronicles Podcast. Tune in every Monday at 9 a.m. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and we will be on Instagram, Reels, and Facebook pretty soon.
And catch us on TikTok too, because we're there. We're everywhere. We're worldwide.
And as Griffin would say, don't forget to tell your aunties, your uncles, your cousins fish, and whatever.
Oh wait, make sure you tell your uncle, cousin, Chris, grandma, monkey, elbow, and everything in between.
When you find a stranger, tell them too.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm Prix. I'm here with my partners here.
Stereotype.
C. Griffey, formerly known as Black Panther.
And we'll be tuning out. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Fire movie.